Good Friday afternoon. It is Friday again. I cannot believe it. I feel like these weeks are flying by. We are finishing week 8 of this quarantine. So some of you are slowly getting out responsibly, safely. We have gotten out a little bit. We're going outside, and we're actually thinking about taking a camping trip at some point soon because we've been in this house for 2 months straight, and we're ready to get out. So I hope you've had a great week. We have a beautiful sunny day here in Birmingham. If you have looked ahead and seen my earlier posts, you'll see that we're making something called cheese muffins today. You might be thinking, that sounds really bizarre, but I promise you they are amazing. So let's get right to this, and I will talk more while these things are baking. So what we have here, let me get my little, my little cookbook, my recipe right here. We have in this bowl 4.5 ounces of bread flour, 4.5 ounces of all-purpose flour. If you do not have a scale, that is totally fine. I would recommend doing a scale because you get accurate results every single time, and if the flours are compacted or sifted, that can really affect how much flour is in here. So 3/4 of packed flour is a lot different than 3/4 of sifted flour. So 3/4 of a cup of flour of each. Bread flour, all-purpose flour. Excuse me. I have 1.5 teaspoons of baking powder, 1/2 teaspoon of baking soda. I have 3/4 of a cup of sugar plus 2 tablespoons of sugar. Okay. And this, I pour that in there, mix that up. You'll notice it's not a ton of flour. There's actually almost as much sugar in this recipe as there is flour. They are really, really good, I promise you. So, mixing this up right here. Hope everybody's having a good Friday. It is quite warm here in Birmingham. I think it's in the 80s today. Mm-hmm. Wow. Okay, and as you can hear, we still have pollen in the air. It's kind of killing us. Okay, over here I have 4 tablespoons of melted unsalted butter. I've kind of let that, you see that start to cool a little bit. You don't want it hot because you don't want it to cook the egg. So a room temperature egg, large. The butter, I have a cup of buttermilk, room temperature, and about 2 tablespoons of whole milk, okay? I'm going to move this over to the side, pour my buttermilk in here, and this comes together so quickly. The hardest part of this recipe is getting all the ingredients prepped, getting them ready. That's it. So getting all the milk in there, we're going to put the butter in there. Can y'all see this okay, y'all? Uh-huh. Excellent. Okay. The restaurant where they make these is a barbecue restaurant down south called Jim and Nick's, and it's fantastic. Get my room temperature egg. And they call these cheese biscuits at the restaurant, which always has kind of confused me because these are technically muffins. They're not biscuits. They serve them as little muffins. And biscuits, you have to cut the butter in. If you've seen the video of my buttermilk biscuits, you'll see that you actually cut the flour in, either using a pastry cutter or the food processor, the really easy way. So this is really a muffin, not a biscuit. So I have my wet here, I have my dry here. Okay, I'll be right back. Stay on that shot. I have 2 cups of shredded sharp cheddar. I actually shredded this myself. If you shred it yourself, you don't have this waxy coating that a lot of the pre-shredded ones do in the store. Those don't melt as well. If you just buy a block of cheddar, first of all, I think it's typically cheaper. And again, it's going to melt much more smoothly. So pour this into your dry ingredients, okay? I know the recipe calls for 2 cups. I might have done 2.5 to 3.
Miss Kay
I won't tell anybody though.
Wants to know why room temperature eggs?
Miss Kay, we do room temperature eggs because we don't want this butter in here to re-solidify. If you have a cold egg with melted butter, room temperature melted butter, it's going to make the butter start to come together again or re-solidify. So you want it to stay liquid. Good question. Okay, look, I'm going to toss this cheese in with this flour, okay? You want to kind of coat all those little shreds, okay? And again, if you've never had these, I think these will be a regular around your house. I think these are amazing. Last night, y'all, tell them what I made last night. Of course, they probably can't hear you when you say that, but they made baby back ribs. Yes, I did. I made baby back ribs, and I made them in the Instant Pot. And then you finish them off in the oven, and that also will be in the new cookbook, which, by the way, is currently being put together right now. We're very excited. And sorry, very noisy. So what you want to do right here, but these biscuits are really great with barbecue. Oh, they're so good. You don't need a special occasion. There is no special occasion. Our special occasion really is just quarantine, you know. We're just shut in, and we're going to enjoy some good food. And again, these are pretty inexpensive to make. The most expensive ingredient here is the cheese, obviously. But we're not using a ton. And I'm telling you, these are good any time of day. Breakfast, doesn't matter when. So I'm not going to overmix this. I'm just kind of scraping the sides. I stopped mixing that as soon as it came together, okay? And I kind of came under, look, and kind of fold over the top like that, okay? Instead of mixing it like that, you're going to make it to where you don't develop the gluten as much in the flour. So these muffins will be more tender, okay? Let me set that right there. Can you still see that okay, y'all? Yes. Okay. If you notice the recipe, I said mini muffin tins if you have them, okay? I used to have a mini muffin tin. I don't know where it is. I'm assuming it may be in our camper. I don't know. So I'm using this. I typically do not use these, okay? These are tiny bundt pans, okay? Bundt pan tins. And I did this just for today, so these will bake quickly, so you don't have to sit here for 20 minutes while these bake. So having that little piece in the middle right there is going to help these bake really quickly. And obviously, you don't have to use mini muffin tins. You can use regular. We like the minis because you can have or not feel as guilty about it. Actually, I don't feel guilty about having full-size muffins. Do you have any questions while I scoop away? My little trusty ice cream scooper. We were at the store the other day, and I meant to get a mini ice cream scoop. They make all different sizes. So for the little mini muffin tins, a little ice cream scoop is great because you get consistent size muffins every single time. So you don't get one little tiny muffin and one gigantic muffin. Okay, so these are about to go in.
Wes, Harvey was talking.
Hey, Harvey.
Bonnie did not hear what kind of cheese you used.
Bonnie, I'm sorry. You'll have to go back and watch the replay to get that.
No.
No. This is sharp cheddar. You can use whatever kind you want. I think these need sharp cheddar. I think you need that bite from the sharp cheddar with the sweetness of these. I think it really works well together. I would never, ever, ever do something like blue cheese. That would be quite disgusting, I think. Oh, God. Okay, that really sounds terrible, doesn't it? Okay, see that? Kind of get those down. I'm going to put this in the oven, a 350-degree preheated oven. I'm going to go ahead and set my timer right now for about 9 minutes. And again, when you do the minis, which camera's on? Is it overhead or this one? Okay. When you're doing the minis, they could bake in 7-ish minutes, 7-8 minutes, just depending on your oven, how long it is preheated, whether or not it's convection. You have all these different types of variables. So, do you have any questions while these bake? I have a little announcement I'm going to make in just a second.
It was a greased pan.
Yes, let me show you. A lot of my recipes, you'll see, oh, here it is. In the cookbook, I'll say, spray with Pam with flour, okay? And that confuses a lot of people. There's actually a Pam that has flour in it, okay? They've changed the name. It used to be called Pam with flour. But I like it they've changed it because now it's called Pam baking, okay? Pam baking with flour. I'm not endorsed by Pam. I just really like them, okay? But this is really great. I use this on the bundt cakes that I do. So spray the tin really liberally. You pour the sugar in there, shake it around, pour that out. This stuff is really great. I think it's a lot better than the basic, just regular cooking sprays. That the addition of the flour really makes it to where it's not impossible to stick, but it makes it much less likely to stick, depending on how much sugar is in your batter, chocolate chips, all different sorts of variables with that. So Pam baking is what I use. There's also something called Baker's Joy, so I'm not showing partiality here, but Baker's Joy works great too. I like them both. I think this has kind of an off-putting smell to it, kind of oily, if that makes sense. This smells like cookies or something. It smells great. So, I don't know. I buy what's ever on sale, to be honest with you. Okay. Any questions before I show something?
Santoro wants to know if you can heat them up later.
Yes, you can.
You won't have any left to heat up.
Yeah, if you have some left, you can heat them up. I would say probably you could even freeze these. I bet these would freeze well. Make sure they cool completely to room temperature. And then I would just put them in a gallon Ziploc baggie. Or if you're going to store them for a while, put them in some heavy foil, then wrap that up, and then put that in a gallon baggie, and then you can freeze it. And then I would slowly thaw them out in the refrigerator overnight the day you want to use them, or you could put them in the microwave just enough to thaw them, and then you could put them in the toaster oven to kind of get the outside crispy. But I think these would be great warmed up. Again, if there are any left.
Okay, last one before you share your surprise.
Yes.
I want to say May because Argentina, but maybe it's just Mimi, said her 3-year-old son has been asked to be called Wes for the last 3 days. They love your music.
What is his name?
Yeah. So Mimi, let us know.
Yeah, let us know what his real name is.
Okay.
That is really sweet. That is really sweet. Okay, can you switch? Okay, hold on, Hudson. I have this little thing with my iPhone, and I won't say the name of the software because I don't want to talk bad about the company, but I've used this before. Ma'am, if you please silence your phone. But they make this software where you can use your phone as a camera, and it's just very, very glitchy. But let me see if this will focus. See, this is not even focusing. Oh, there it is. There it is. All right, Hudson, can you switch to that? Can you see that at all?
Yes.
I wanted to give you kind of a different view, but you see it's just a really smooth batter. And I love the large shreds of cheese, not the super fine, but the large shreds of cheese. I need to work on the Red Lobster biscuit recipe. That is just something special, isn't it? Okay, so I want to show you something I've been working on, and these are getting very close to shipping out. But I have right here, a lot of you have asked for the honey, if that will focus. There it is. It's finally focusing. The honey caramel glaze. We have finally made it, and it comes. Look at this cute little squirt bottle. You just heat that up, and you can squirt that right onto whatever you want. Muffins. Thank you for the applause. Thank you so much. You could do muffins. You could do pancakes. You can do waffles. You could do my personal favorite, biscuits. This is great on fried chicken, believe it or not. The homemade Chick-fil-A, just a little bit. It's amazing. Oh, Hudson's getting a little carried away with the sound effects. And then, but it will come to you once we start shipping it. It will come to you like this, okay? It'll come to you with this cute little black top. Isn't that great? Isn't that just the cutest little logo? Comes in a black top, and if I can do this with one hand, I want to show you. It comes sealed. Look at that. Has a foil seal on there. Look at that. Isn't that cool? So now that makes it to where I can actually ship it without keeping it refrigerated. So there you go. We will start selling this. We will probably start taking pre-orders next week. The biggest part is, Hudson, you can switch to the main camera, buddy. The biggest part now is figuring out the most economical way to ship this stuff, because I did a little test package last night, and by the time you do the package with that, it's almost a pound. It's like right at 15 ounces, which is pretty heavy. And I've been looking into several different shipping services, and we're trying to get the cost as low as possible so that you don't have to pay much for shipping, because I hate paying shipping on stuff. But unfortunately for us, it does cost a good bit. But I promise you, whatever shipping price is listed, there is little to zero markup on that. That just helps cover the actual cost of shipping and then the cost of the labels of the actual boxes, all that stuff. So we'll have that very soon at westhampton.com or westapes.com. We will have pre-orders for that very soon. And as soon as you order it, you should receive it in about a week. And this is about, these hold 9 ounces. If you fill these up to the top, they're 9 ounces. As you can see, this one's pretty much to the top. So most of these will come from anywhere 8.5 to 9 ounces per bottle, okay? And it'll have a little instruction label on the back, which we have not put on there yet. It'll tell you, it'll have the ingredients on there. This is gluten-free. It is also, what else is it? Gluten-free. Dairy-free? It does have lots of dairy. I thought, oh, and nut-free. There's nut-free and gluten-free. So
and
for those of you with allergies.
They love it on apples.
Oh, yes, that's right. Bonnie Harvey said this is great on apples. This is great on a flip-flop. It's great on whatever, you know, whatever. It really doesn't matter. This stuff is amazing. I have to confess, I'm kind of embarrassed to say this, but I've been known to get just a tablespoon and just squirt it into the tablespoon and just eat it by the tablespoon. I'm not very proud of that. But
okay, Nicole she still has an unopened jar. Nicole, why have you not opened that jar? Is it still good?
Did you get it about a year ago? My first question. Second question, is it refrigerated? More than likely, if the seal has not been broken, I would say it's still good. I would say I would not really want to keep this much beyond a year. I know that I sold this last year at Family Fest, I believe. So, you know, we're just shy of a year of when you last got it. But I would definitely, if it's not in the fridge, get it in the fridge, okay, and then eat that within a week or two, okay? But again, there's a good bit of salt in this. Butter can sit out at room temperature. I remember both of my grandmothers. You remember the little tray they had that would just sit out on the counter? That would have room temperature butter that would just sit there for days and weeks. You know, there's sugar in this. There's honey. Honey pretty much lasts forever. It starts crystallizing. You heat it back up. The crystals dissolve. So honey is pretty much indefinite. So I mean, you're not in danger of anything. I think as far as the flavor quality, will probably go down if you go past a year. But Nicole, come on, girl, get with it. Let me look at these muffins. Oh my. Okay, I think we are about 3 minutes away, 2 to 3 minutes away with the muffins. Do we have any more questions?
Yeah. Estimated time for cookbook, estimated time for honey, and how much for honey?
Okay, good questions. Okay, the first one, again, remind me, was what? I'm like Dory, I have a very short-term memory.
Estimated time.
Okay, estimated time for the cookbook. Estimated time for the cookbook, I would say realistically, we could start shipping this out in about 3 weeks. The designer has been sending me samples back of stuff she's working on. She's still getting the pictures just right. And this cookbook is only going to have about 50 recipes. If you have my recipes volume 1, it probably has close to 100, but that's actually 2 cookbooks in one. So this is just a single volume. This will be recipes volume 2 is what it'll be called. So there'll be no confusion there. So we have recipes volume 1 that's already out, and it's just called recipes. And the recipes volume 2, again, I hope we can start shipping that out in about 3 weeks. We want to make sure that all the proofing is done, that there's no typos. In fact, I just sent the designer an email this morning correcting a recipe. I accidentally left off a couple of ingredients. Imagine that. So we just want to make sure that everything is accurate before we get it printed. So we will definitely start taking orders within 3 weeks for sure. So I think within a month, you should be having it in your hand. So we're very excited about it.
With glaze.
The glaze, again, we are just trying to finalize all the shipping that comes along with the glaze. Once we get that done, we have all the labeling. We figured out how we're going to actually do the postage with the labels. There's just so many little things you have to think of. Trying to get the right bottles for the right company. We have to get the bottles from one company. We have to get these caps that seal with electromagnetic heat, I guess. And it seals the foil to this. There's so many different moving parts to this. So when you have all these different moving parts, getting supplies to different companies, it can kind of take a while to get everything all together, but we're feeling very, very close. So good questions. Anything else about these muffins, about the road?
Beth Laycock says she loves it on bagels and Cracker Barrel biscuits.
Yes. Yes.
We had some people
yes, Beth.
take
I
the
love
glaze to Cracker Barrel and put it on their biscuits.
They have. They took. This is when it was in the jars, and the jars. Oh my gosh, those look amazing. The jars were so heavy, and I thought we've got to get another solution besides these heavy mason jars. They were cute. They looked great. You could heat them up really hot. Nothing would happen to them, but they weren't very practical as far as shipping. So that's why we went to this. These are dishwasher safe. You can even microwave them. So this is a pretty heavy duty plastic. So I'm excited for people. If you've never tried it, I'm excited for you to try it. It really is amazing. We're actually going to be selling this on Etsy as well. So we're trying to get all that set up through Etsy as well. So if you don't want to do it through the site for some reason, you can also do Etsy. So please just help spread the word. We want to get this out and get in people's hands. Oh, someone asked about the pricing. The pricing of this, because of the cost of ingredients and the cost of labor and the cost of supplies, these are $10, but again, it's over 8 ounces of this, and a little of the stuff does go a long way. It's $10, and then again, whatever shipping. If I'm going to be realistic, I bet the shipping will be somewhere close to $5, $5.50 or so. I hope not to go more than that. Again, we will keep it as low as possible because again, I hate for you to pay $10 for this and then pay half of that just for shipping. But again, shipping is expensive. It's just expensive. Any other questions?
You have a new album coming out soon?
I am working. Okay, the vocal band has a new album coming out. I would think within a couple of months. I actually put my last vocal down this past week. So we have 12 songs done. They're in the process now of mixing all the songs. And once the songs are mixed, they basically send them all to us. We approve, say, hey, I think that mix is great. I think that Bill needs to go down and Wes needs to come up, pretty much on every song. And then once that happens, the songs are great. Just kidding. So vocal band album probably out in, I don't want to put a time frame, but I would probably say the end of summer, realistically. And then my solo project, I'm still currently working on. I think I have about half of the songs done. But Bill has kept us pretty busy doing stuff at home, in my home studio for this vocal band project. And then I've also been working on this cookbook, which has taken quite a long time. Okay, these need about 1 more minute. And again, I apologize for these larger muffin tins. They just take a lot longer. The mini ones would be done by now. These muffins are so great. At Jim and Nick's, they serve them with honey butter. And it's just amazing. I don't think these things need anything, but if you have honey butter, it's great. If you have some of this on one of those, it's pretty great as well. I actually think like a Chipotle Tabasco, I love putting that on these things. It's great. A barbecue sauce is great on there. They're just great. They really are. I talked to Bill 2 days ago. He called and he is so excited about this new project, and he is so anxious to get back out on the road. He cannot wait to get on the road, as we can't wait either. We cannot wait for that. So right now the earliest we will be out is August, so we're praying and hoping that the first thing we will be doing is the vocal band reunion in August. So hope to see some of you there, and also have a couple of solo things as well in August. So okay, this is going off. I think these are done enough, so I'm going to take these out even if they're not quite done. They look pretty close. And if I can get these out without burning my hand, let me get a mini cute. Okay, see these? And again, these are probably 3 times the size that they're supposed to be. But again, I didn't have my mini muffin tins. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to get, if you can hang right here, just get the overhead shot. I'm going to get a fork, and I'm going to turn this out onto, let me get, okay, I'm going to get a little paper plate here. And I might need a little taste tester if someone wants to come and taste test. Okay. I think,
the one that got his braces off.
I think these, okay, yes, these are done. Okay, Hudson, come here and smile for the camera. Hudson, look at that. He's almost, he's almost.
I gotta figure out how to zoom out.
Main camera on the top. Here, go to main camera, Hudson.
Oh, I was on the overhead.
Yeah, bless.
Okay, go back.
Hudson, come here. So Hudson is 14, and he got to smile pretty. Look at those beautiful teeth. Look at that. Aren't those pretty teeth? Okay, so Hudson, again, these can go another 2 minutes. As you see, they're very soft and they're very hot. But they are done. They are done. You can just see, look how.
Oh, I need to go to overhead.
All right, Hudson, you can go ahead. I'll just, yeah, can you go to overhead, babe?
Yeah.
Okay, look. You see how fluffy those are? They're totally done. They're super fluffy, super light. See how they're just almost falling apart? That's what you want, okay? Listen, if you don't have bread flour, you can totally use all-purpose flour. Okay, Hudson, let's go and just dig in there just with your hands. Or do you want to do a fork?
Do a fork.
Okay. And tell me, just go on and on about how great those are. Is it pretty great? You haven't tried it yet? Okay.
They want to know which son is the most talkative.
Mm.
Amethyst is who asked. What a beautiful name.
That's beautiful.
Cardin
Oh,
for me.
oh, those are not amazing. Those
Yeah,
are so
you're right.
good. Those are so good. Yeah, Cardin talks a lot.
And he has a lot of questions.
Lots of questions. Yeah, lots and lots of questions. But Hudson's a talker too. Bear's a little more introverted, as is Suddy. When you say Suddy's a little more introverted too. So they're more kind of thinkers and observers. They're just kind of taking what's going on around them. And then Hudson and Cardin are kind of there for the party. So, well, y'all, thank you so much. Hudson, get back to your job.
Do you need some honey glaze on it?
You need some honey glaze? This has not been heated up, so oh, look, watch this. Okay. See this? Look at that. Yeah, and that's not even heated up. This has been in the refrigerator, so yeah, that's gonna be pretty magical. You can see those little vanilla beans in there.